You'll have 1 minute each to introduce yourselves, and then Hassan will look to take questions from the floor. If you can make sure these questions are phrased in a way that all candidates can answer, so you're not aiming it directly at everyone, and then they'll each have 30 seconds to respond to the questions. We're going to let it run for half an hour, just take as many questions as we can at that point, and I'll just let the guillotine fall at the end of that. So without further ado, I'll pass it to Hassan, and good luck to the candidates.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. We'll start from the right-hand side and then move towards the left. So we'll start with Tom. There you go. On. You have 1 minute.
Hi there. My name's Tom and I'm running for Activities Officer on the basis that I've absolutely loved every minute of all the extracurricular activities I've been able to enjoy whilst at university. They've been personally very enriching. I've been able to get more involved in the local community. I've learned things about myself that I didn't know before, and quite frankly, I think that's a vital part of the university experience. Unfortunately, it seems that there are a lot of people on campus who don't feel that they have the exact same opportunities that I was fortunate enough to have. So I want to transform the SU so that everybody feels that not only are they able to attend, whatever type of societies meetings they want to go to, but also that they'll be welcomed into doing so. So I want to tackle some of the negative elements of, say, lad culture on campus. We always hear too much about societies at different unis being banned for whatever, racist or homophobic chants they've done on nights out. We should stop.
10 seconds left.
Oh, 10 seconds left. I want to make sure that we have a more inclusive, accessible and friendly culture on campus, and that anybody, regardless of their circumstances, can fully enjoy the university experience.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Alina. I'm a third year biology student and I'm running for Activities Officer. I came to the uni, didn't know what I wanted to do with activity-wise or just anything to do with society. I knew I wanted to do dance, so I went to Freshers' Fair, found out that I wanted to do belly dancing. I was a beginner, did that, and then now I'm president, as some of you may know through seeing me through these meetings. And having that society there has really helped me find my best friends here at uni, and I found all the benefits of actually being active and having something to do other than just going to lectures. I'm also an active member of the Lasting Building Society, which I joined this year, and my biggest regret is not joining in first year. So I want to make sure that people do not regret not joining societies like me and join them as early as possible.
10 seconds.
I also, as being part of committee this year, I know what needs to be done next year to improve and make sure that all big and small societies are included well in the society.
Okay, fantastic. Whenever you're ready.
Hi, I'm Becky and I'm running for Activities Officer as well. The reason that I wanted to run is because I was involved in the working committee this year as the early evening coordinator, and that was basically a new role focused in getting students engaged in their halls and also linking doing events for societies. And when I did that, I actually worked with a lot of societies and student groups, and I thought, hang on a minute, welcome is a massive opportunity that we're missing here to improve further. So that's where some of the points about welcome came from my manifesto, moving it back into one location, putting on more events. I also want to improve the employability links for societies. I want to create better society spaces, and also from talking to societies and creation of my manifesto, I feel like there needs to be more clarity of funding and support with that. That's
Okay. Okay, fantastic. Whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I am also running for Activities. Just to know a bit about my experiences of societies and student-run services in Nottingham. I was activities rep for Derby Hall in my first year, which really kind of whetted my appetite for the number of different kind of opportunities there are to get involved. I then was week 1 rep for my hall as well, and this then spurred me on to apply for the events rep for Societies Council, which you may have seen me in. I, like you, attend all your Society Council meetings, and I feel like this has given me a really good understanding of what you guys want as Society Presidents and Society Committee members in terms of improvements and also what you want from your Students' Union. Some of my ideas on my manifesto: improving welcome fare. This year it wasn't as good as it could be, and there have been decreased memberships, and that's not what we want. Also training and rewards, there is a massive need for review of content, and I'm looking to do that as well. So yes, I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
After the question. Yes.
My question is, what will your main project for next year be, and how will
So just to reiterate that question, what will your main project be for next year and how will that benefit the SU? Okay, we started with you, Tom, so we'll start with you.
My main project I put on my manifesto will be a welfare and society scheme. I don't know whether you know, but there has been an implementation of welfare and sports. I very much understand that the welfare and sports scheme is very a one-size-fits-all, and because sports teams are quite similar. If I do get elected, I aim to look individually at all of the societies and see what they need within welfare. This will not be an implementation of a welfare rep. I don't feel like that is needed in most societies, but instead looking at training of kind of like ideas surrounding the welfare services we have in Nottingham, having greater awareness of mental health illnesses, and just kind of
That's
like...
all we've got time for. Okay, fantastic.
My biggest project for next year, if I was to be elected, is the publicity support for societies. I feel like societies are absolutely fantastic at putting on events, and the students' union can be doing more to support them. I spoke to the Sutton Bonington Guild, and they actually do an activities calendar at the start of each month, much like the welcome calendar, and that goes up through social media. And I kind of want societies and all student groups to be able to submit that at the start of the month, and then that will go out to social media, which students are using much, much more than their emails. I also want better links to graphic designers within the student body.
That's all we've got time for. Okay, whenever you're ready.
My main project would be to make sure that there's a timetable for societies, much like IMAP that you have for lectures and stuff like that, but it will be all the societies and activities and sports and all that kind of stuff, all in one page, so that people can find what they want to do, either on availability of what day they've got around their lectures, what their interests are, whether it's dance, sport, anything really, arts. So that will increase memberships so people actually know what there is out there, and it will help with the room booking situation where...
My priorities, if I'm elected as activities officer, is supporting and encouraging the variety of events that our societies put on. So whether that is through reforming the funding system so that societies are able to afford to put on whatever events they need, or providing services that they quite frankly should do. I was involved in a voter registration drive fairly recently, and we had to print off the forms ourselves. I think this is something the SU can do to firstly relieve the financial constraints upon society, but also just to help their students. I also think that there's a lot of social media promotion that can be done for societies.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Anyone else got a question? Yes.
What actions would you take next year to deal with the storage issue many societies have been facing?
All right, just to repeat that question, it is what actions will you take next year to deal with the storage issue that many societies currently are suffering with? Okay. We'll start with you, Becky, because of next slide.
Well, with the Portland redevelopment, that obviously opens up a lot of opportunity for more spaces for storage to be created for societies. I think that there needs to be looking at the security of the storage space as well, making sure that the right people are having access to that storage space. Again, I spoke to Sutton Bonington and they had a similar problem, and they said that they actually got societies to do an inventory of everything that they had. And from there, they gave them loads of notice, got them to submit what they had, and then they were able to remove anything that wasn't on that inventory, and that actually freed up a lot of space for stuff that kind of wasn't being used, wasn't like as
all we've
painful.
got time for. Okay, fantastic. Whenever you're ready.
Hi, as you know, it was Disha and I who raised this issue in the last meeting that's actually started to sort this out. Currently there has been the clear out in the Portland building for this issue, but hopefully next year, if I would be elected, I would increase the actual storage space so that they're more in the location of where they are, because I know that some people from different campuses and everything have the storage rooms in the wrong locations to make sure that they're allocated in the right locations, and then...
That's all we've got time for. Thank you.
I would sort the storage space problem in Portland by holding open forums during the Portland redevelopment. I believe that all students should have a voice in how the SU building is being redeveloped, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for students to voice what problems they think the SU is having. So obviously, storage is a very major issue. So yes, we should be doing, our society should be doing inventory so we know what is needed and what isn't. But quite frankly, just listening to what the students say and what they want to be done, where do they want the rooms, how big do they want them, and how can we achieve that?
That's all we've got time for. Becky?
I think similar to Tom and Becky, the idea around Portland Review is really, really key. Listening to you guys, knowing what you want, where you want storage, and also there have been discussions of like a key code system for the storage, which at the moment I know there is an issue with having to get a key from a porter. This isn't very efficient, and I would look into doing that as well as kind of using the Portland Review to increase the amount of storage that you guys have.
Okay, have we got any other questions? Yes.
Quite commonly, student unions are shut down outside term time, which is really bad for postgraduate students. What would you do to encourage people like yourself?
The question is, quite often student unions shut outside term time, which isn't good for postgraduate students. What would you do to make that more inclusive? Alina, we can start with you.
I would make that more inclusive to students like you by having like a survey so people can see what activities and what parts of the SU you'd like to be open, and see if that's actually physically possible, to see what porters are around and who's actually here and what rooms can be open. So I think to start off, to have a survey to see what facilities to be open you'd actually like, and then to actually go from there to see how many people would like this and whether it's physically possible.
Fantastic. Whenever you're ready,
I think some of that public forums on the Portland Review would be very useful for. But yeah, absolutely, the SU should be open during holidays, because there are a lot of students, such as yourself, who are still at Nottingham during the holidays. I know I spent much of the summer holidays in Nottingham, and it would have been really, really useful to be able to use more of the facilities here on campus over that period. I think, yes, having a survey, as Alina said, to see what facilities people would like open over the holidays is more important, and then we can see from there.
I feel like the issue between postgrads and societies, student-run services, gives massive scope for the activities officer to work with the postgrad officer. I'm currently part of the SU events team, and my ideas surrounding kind of engaging postgrads during summer holidays, during other holidays, and also during term time is really, really important. Holding more events that are not specifically for postgrads, but also understanding that postgrads are not necessarily going to be wanting to do the same things as undergraduates and within societies. So it's about looking at that, discussing with the postgrad officer and getting to know what you want.
Similar to Emily, I definitely think that working with the postgrad officer is going to be key here, because they've got the best understanding of the students that they're representing. I think there needs to be more events put on during those periods for postgrad students. And I think that they can be specific to postgrad students, because working with the postgrad officer, they're going to be able to cater to a certain need during that time when undergrads maybe aren't there. I also want to bring in online room booking, so that if there are student groups from postgrads, they're able to easily access the spaces that are available, and they don't have to send emails and come into the building to do that.
Have we got anyone else? Has everyone else done?
Yeah,
okay, just making sure. Okay. Has anybody else got a question? I saw your hand go up first.
So Rob, you mentioned that you want to increase students' engagement with different societies. How do you intend to do that?
Okay, the question is, how do you intend to raise engagement for students in societies? Okay, fantastic.
I think my favourite policy for dealing with this is holding massive inter-society events, probably over a week. So, for instance, my idea of a food festival would give access to students to all these different nationality societies, food societies and faith societies. People can come along, see what they like, and it will really, really help students get involved in societies they may not have thought of joining. Another major inter-society event I've got is Interfaith Week. So all the different faith societies work together, put on a series of events across a week. They'll be open obviously to all students, and people can come along.
So what time
it's about.
I feel like to get people more included in the societies, it's really important to find out what students want I know that obviously there are 34,000 students at Nottingham and that would be very difficult, but it's about finding out niches that people want to join. Like we have so many societies, over 200, and that means there is something for everyone, and it is about getting that people aware of these events. So through networking events, into society, using forums, so obviously Societies Council has a forum section, using this kind of structure to find out kind of like what you guys want in order to kind of get more people included.
Well, from working in Welcome, I saw that the fact that the Welcome Festival this year was spread across campus. When I spoke to societies writing my manifesto, they said that actually like massively decreased their sign-ups for a lot of them. And actually, exposure is the best way to get students engaged, because Welcome Festival is open to all students, not just first years. So I want to bring it back into one location so that even small societies are getting the same level of exposure. And I really want to work with societies to put on events during that key period as well, so that they've got that platform to engage students.
I would like to increase the awareness of the Try It sessions, because I know that of the people that did not go into the Try It sessions, 60% of them did not know what it was, and then a further 30% didn't even know where or when the locations were. So I'd like to, with my idea of a database that will kind of say where the Try It sessions are, people will be able to find out where and what locations all these different
Would you guys see the benefit of the call as well? No, that's okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Have you started the question last time?
I started that one.
Fantastic. So I'll go back. Okay, has anyone else got a question? Yes.
We will be handing over to our new committees in the next few weeks. What would you do to help out the new committees that are coming in when your activities officers are ease that transition?
All right. The question is, if I'm correct, new committees will be handed over to in a couple of weeks. How will you work with those new committees when you're elected? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right, fantastic. Okay, whenever you're ready.
So handovers are really important for getting the next kind of committees up to date with what's happening. I feel like it's really important to kind of engage with the new committee members as soon as possible. Something that I'm really keen on doing is forging relationships with all the committee members to make it more personal, to make it more so that if you have a problem, you feel like you can come to myself, you can come to your development coordinators. And by doing this, I feel like drop-in sessions or some kind of forum-based thing will be the best way to do it, to get to know people.
When we're developing the training of the committees, I think we need to listen to societies and say, when you started for your society, what training did you need? What was specific to your role? Because there's some training that is going to benefit other societies more than others, and I think that needs to be much more tailored. There needs to be more clarity with things like applying for grants, what your role entails, that kind of thing, handovers. They need to be looked at and made more specific to that individual society, and I think that that's possible to do.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and I think that tailoring a specific handover document or helping the current committees and to hand over to the next committee so they actually know what they're doing, because I found that I didn't really know what I was doing to the full extent. So to be able to build that relationship with those committee members and make sure that there is actually a document tailored to each sort of society so that they could be able to know what they're doing and be able to engage with me and each other.
Yeah, I think the idea of drop-in sessions with the relevant development coordinators is a really good idea, because that way we can not only help train these new committee members and help them know what they're doing, but also help them forge links with societies who are going to have similar interests to them. So whether they're course-based societies or campaigns-based societies or skills-based societies, they can bounce ideas off one another and essentially have a great variety of activities available to them. I also think that candidate workshops at the beginning of the year, so people who are interested in maybe running for a society position, show their interest, say welcome week and so on, learn information about it.
Okay, we're going for the last few questions there. Has anyone got a question? Yes.
How would you improve SU support and publicity for society events?
Question is, how would you improve SU support and publicity for events?
That's a great point, and that's why publicity is one separate issue on my manifesto, because I think it's so key. I already spoke about the activities calendar that I want to go out to sort of publicise more of what societies are doing. I also want to create graphic design support as well. There are people in the student body who can do graphic design, and maybe with like some sort of uni-temps like structure, being able to have access to that student body to create better quality graphics to engage with students around campus. Also the website needs majorly looking at, the society section needs to be first, easier to navigate.
I would like to increase the social media for the SU, because the SU website is up there, but not many people actually go to it. So to increase the Facebook awareness, the Instagram, because aren't that many followers on the Instagram account in comparison to how many students there actually are at the university. So to increase awareness that way, and to make sure that all the events that are on the SU websites have Facebook events as well, so that, because people generally check their Facebook whenever something comes up, or every day people are on their Facebook.
That's all we've got time for.
I think that we should be using whatever social media we have access to, so whether it's the social media accounts of SU officers, whether it's halls, Facebook accounts and so on, they should be using those to advertise society work that's going on that will be relevant to their members. But I think we also have to realise that there are a lot of students in the university who don't actually use social media, and that we should actually rely on physical advertising on campus. So we should have massive notice boards by Harvard, by the science buildings, by humanities, by Portland, with showing
That's all we've got
what
time
societies do.
Right, fantastic. We'll take this as the last question.
Oh, yes, answers.
I am so sorry. Apologise.
I feel like my experience of being on the SU events team has really kind of like helped me hone my skills on kind of the idea of promotion. There are various techniques like these guys have said, social media, actual physical promotion, but I feel like it is really important to promote you guys as much as possible, because it's so, that's the way people get involved, that is the way people know what you're doing and actually how you guys get the recognition that you deserve. So I feel like that is just all comes under one thing.
Okay, we're going with one last question. Sorry about that. Is there a last? Yes.
So society is there to benefit the members, and the SU has the gold and silver stars rating for different societies. Most members don't actually know what they are, and it's only generally the committees that do. Do you think that needs to be changed? And if so, how?
Okay, the question is, the SU currently have a gold and silver star method of rewarding societies. The committee members know that, however, the society members themselves don't. How would you change that? Who started the question last time? Was it you, Becky? Okay, fantastic. Just to reconfirm, this is the last question. Right, whenever you're ready.
I completely agree. I didn't know the star system until I was on the committee last year for belly dancing. I feel like we should make sure that all members are aware of this, because they want to make sure that they meet all the requirements so their society does meet the gold requirements, because why not? Like, you really want to be gold, not just as a committee, as a whole society, all the members. I currently want to change the system of the star system anyway, so when changing that, I would try to find different advertising ways and make sure that the...
That's all we've got time for. Thank you.
Well, I think one easy way of doing it is wherever you see the society advertised, so whether it's at Welcome Week, whether it's on the website and so on, it should have right next to it whether it has the gold or silver star award. I think this is a pretty simple way of showing that it has this award. And then if you hover over it, a little explanation of what that means. What has the society done to meet those criteria? I want to introduce a name and fame system for societies that are on lab culture workshops and so on. And I think that this is a great opportunity of making sure that all awards that societies have are advertised wherever you see the society.
So on my manifesto, I put in something about stars rewards, about looking at what is involved in getting them and also what is involved in actually recognising when you have got the award that you've won or that you've achieved. And it's from this that I feel like you can have better promotion of what it actually is. So obviously, I know one of the requirements is a welfare event. This works really well with my Welfare and Society scheme, and by doing that you will hold a welfare type event, and from there your society members will be able to gauge like what it's all
That's all
about.
we've got time for.
Firstly, I think it's important when looking at the structure of the star system to listen to students and societies of the way they think that we should be steering them, and the kind of things that they want rewards for, and the kind of things that students want to see their societies do. Secondly, I think that by sort of celebrating the societies when they're able to achieve these things is actually really key. If we're able to show that a society did something fantastically and that they were able to get stars for that or points towards the star system, then not only is that increasing the recognition of what they were doing, but also the publicity of what the star system is about, so that we can increase the awareness
That's all
of
we've got
that.
time for. Okay, that was the last question. So give him a massive round of applause for all the candidates. Let's take it.